Do we have a new mic? We have a new panelist.
We do.
On the show today. I would love to introduce him.
My pleasure today to introduce Mr. Justin Spittler to our listening audience. Justin is part of our team. He works very, very closely with Certified Financial Planner Gary Abley. And Justin is a Certified Financial Planner, has all his designations, and comes to us from a corporate background at Fidelity. Right, Justin?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, he was with Fidelity. And tell our clients, or tell our listeners what you did there with Fidelity before you joined our team.
Well, I spent the bulk of my time at Fidelity in their guidance department. So when people would call into the 401k group and they needed help with their investments or strategy, they would route them to my group, and we would help them with their asset allocation and those types of investment guidance decisions.
There you go. So you were the behind-the-scenes guy at Big Mother Fidelity, if you will.
Yes, sir.
So welcome aboard, and he's here along with me this morning to take any questions that might be on your mind regarding your personal finances. As we say, we are here to answer the questions that you might be bugging you and decisions that you have to make regarding your personal finances. We go through life trying some of this, trying some of that, wake up when we're 55 years old and find out we might not be prepared because one of these days you have to turn your IRAs and your 401ks and your savings into a stream of income to supplement your Social Security so you can enjoy what they say are your golden years. So Justin and I are here to take the questions that you might have regarding stocks, bonds, mutual funds, real estate, long-term health care, IRAs, annuities, life insurance, reverse mortgages, all that and more. And the good news for you is that the lines are absolutely wide open. So if you have any questions about any of those topics that I may have mentioned or anything else that might be on your mind regarding your personal finances, just pick up the phone and dial these magic numbers.
844-220-0965. That is 844-220-0965. And ladies and gentlemen, I've got exciting news.
Yes.
Celebrate, ladies and gentlemen. The text machine has returned.
Hey, we're back in business.
Yes. The text machine is back. 21232. If you have a question for the panel, it's very simple. Just go ahead. 160 characters. That hasn't changed, but the text machine is back. It's been gone for about a month now, almost 2 months now.
Yep. And
we only had the phone lines for a long time. But yes, the text machine is back. So in case you don't want to call in, you can easily just text it 21232. And again, 844-220-0965. Topic of the day, Joe.
Well, we are here to talk about things that are going on in the world. Big news in the investment world this week was GE cut their dividend to 1 penny a share. GE, well, maybe some of our listeners might not be familiar with what's going on with GE. GE, one of the stalwarts, if you will, of the industrial world throughout the world, has been struggling as of late. And they're trying to divest themselves of some of their other subsidiaries and so forth. And to conserve cash, they cut their dividend to 1 penny per share. And this is very tough, particularly for those people that have held GE stock for years and made it the major part, if not the sole part, of their retirement. There was an article in this week's Wall Street Journal about a retiree from GE, and he had 8,000 shares of GE stock. And unfortunately, he had to sell it because he cannot live on the 1 penny per share. And the share price is now down under $10 from a high, I think, recently or most recent times of what's close to $70 a share. And that's a tough deal. Which brings me to think, Justin, you know how companies, a lot of clients chase dividends?
Yes, sir.
What's the trade-off on that, of trying to chase dividends when if you just look at the dividend it's paying? The challenge is that what's going on with the company?
Yeah, exactly. You got to keep in mind the risk of holding just one stock. Some of the saddest stories I've seen from giving people advice and guidance is the people that hold too much in one stock, and then it turns south on them. Washington Mutual comes to mind.
Enron,
yeah,
WorldCom, Eastern Airlines, Kodak.
But you find people holding on to one stock, whether it be because of a emotional reason or maybe they've got a low cost basis and they don't want to lock in the tax consequences, and they end up riding the volatility that may come.
Or oftentimes it's the company that they work for. I think the real challenge there is emotionally you think you know what's going on within the company. You work for the company. It's a big company, been around for years, never missed a dividend. Everything is great. But what you really don't know is what's going on in the boardroom.
Right.
And the decisions that they make. And when you're chasing after companies that pay a high dividend, it's because the stock price is depressed. You get that dividend based on stock price, based on what you invest, and the stock price is depressed. And the stock price is depressed because perhaps investors know that there is pending troubles within that company. So if you're just chasing dividends, it can be a fool's errand, just like investing in GE stock is or has been. So I see we have a call there, Mr. Kyle.
We do. Not only do we have a call, we also have a text.
Holy
but we'll get to that right after we get to
right.
Jim in Claremont. Jim,
Hello,
good
Jim.
morning. You're on the Certified Financial Group.
Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
I got a question about Social Security. I was told that I'm getting ready to go on next year, and I'm told a certain amount is not taxable. The first so much is not taxable. Is that true or not true? Or can you help me with that? Or?
That is true. That is. Oh, first of all, are you still working?
Yes. I didn't start collecting yet. I turned 66 in July, and I was going to start taking it the first of the year.
And how old are you? You're 66 in July? Okay.
I'm over 60. This past July, I'm 66. They told me I'm going to get around $2,500 a month.
Okay.
And I just wanted to know, to set up for different things, how much of it's taxable.
How much is? Well, it depends on. Are you married?
Yes.
Are you? And I presume you filed a joint return.
Yes.
Okay. If you're what they call your modified adjusted gross income is over $44,000, up to 85% of your Social Security will be taxable.
If it's over 44,000, 85% of my Social Security is taxable. That's what you said.
That's correct. Yes.
If it's under 44,000, how does that work then?
Then it'll be taxed at 50% if you're between 32,000 and 44,000.
15.
And under 32,
Okay.
under 32,000, you don't pay tax on your Social Security.
Yeah, it'll be over 32,000.
Right.
And could you answer me something about Medicare? Is that something you could?
Well, we'll try.
I mean, if not,
We'll try.
okay. I'm working full time. I have insurance through my employer, so I won't be. Right now I'm not going to take Medicare. But if I quit my employer and get new employment, I probably won't. But if I get new employment within 3 or 4 months, it takes 6 months to go on an insurance. Do I have to sign up for Medicare, or is there a time limit before you have to? Because I don't want to have to pay a penalty on that.
Yeah, when you're no longer in your company plan, then you need to sign up for Part B. You're automatically included in Medicare Part A. It's Part B that you need to have, which covers your doctors, and then you need to have a supplement on top of that, right, Justin?
Right,
Yes.
I'm familiar with that. But is there let's say I quit January 1st. How long do I have to sign up for Medicare before they give me that 10% penalty or something? Or should I just do it right away and not fool around with it?
Well, unless you have another job lined up, I would lock it down right away. Now,
Okay.
I don't know.
I probably won't, I'll lock it down right away then.
Yes. There may, I can't tell you off the top of my head. Gary Abley, unfortunately, is the expert in Medicare, and in fact, he's doing this program right.
Yeah, he's doing the healthcare seminar now.
He's got a standing room only crowd. That's his most popular. So I can't answer that specifically for you. I'll do a little bit of research if I can on the break and let you know if you stay tuned. There may be a gap.
Thank you. I will.
There may be a gap there where you can before you have time to sign up. In fact, when you think about it, there needs to be because, what if you get fired or become disabled or something and you're not going to just jump in and get that done. So there ought to be some leeway. Let me see if I can find out for you, and we will try to tell you before this program's over.
Thank you very much. Listen to you guys all the time.
Thanks for the call, Jim.
I appreciate it.
Bye.
Thanks so much, Jim. If you want Jim's line, it's 844-220-0965. That is 844-220-0965. Or you can text us to 21232. That is 21232. Got a text question in here. I'm not sure if I'll be able to answer, but we'll give it a shot here. Solar energy tax credit, how does that work?
You get first of all, let's distinguish between a tax credit and a tax deduction.
That's huge. That's huge.
Tell our
Yes.
listeners what the difference between a tax credit and a tax deduction.
So the tax credit's actually going to help you dollar for dollar. So when you have a tax credit, when you look at your taxable income, it's going to help you dollar for dollar. Whereas the deduction is going to go against your taxable income, so that it just kind of reduces the percentage potentially.
Yes. So the most important thing is that the credit is a dollar for dollar, as Justin said, a dollar for dollar tax benefit, as opposed to a tax deduction, which just simply reduces the amount of taxable income that you have. So let me see what I can find about solar energy tax credits. I know that they are available out there.
So let me tell you what I know about
Please.
this, because
Yeah.
I actually got solar panels put on
Oh,
my
there you
house
go. Here
a
you
couple
go.
years ago.
All right, Justin.
So, first of all, I do believe in it. Just make sure you shop around the company. But as far as the tax credit goes, you got to make sure that you have, as long as you have the taxable income to counter the credit, then I forget the dollar amounts, but you spread it out over a few years. So it's not all at once, but I can't quote the dollar amounts.
Well, let's see what it is here. You install a solar power system. The federal government rewards you with a tax credit for investing in solar energy. A tax credit is a dollar-for-dollar reduction, as Justin said, of the income tax you owe. If you claim a $3,000 tax credit, that pays off your liability. I guess it's a maximum of $3,000.
Yep. So you just spread that out, $3,000 per year until you've used up your expense.
Yeah. So there it is. So how's the solar panels working out for you?
Oh, I love it. It
Yeah?
took my bill from about $400 a month down to about $90.
Whoa. Sweet.
Wow.
And you did a lot of shopping for it?
Yeah, I compared
Tell us
three.
about that story, because I know some listeners will probably want to know what that's all about. So tell us what you did there.
Yeah, 3 different companies. They sent their sales guys over into my house and gave me their full spiel. It takes about, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours per spiel, and you just got to ask a lot of good questions and try to make sure I know what the efficiency was going to be of the panels. You know, how much is it actually going to give me as far as energy? And, of course, you're going to deal with a little bit of that, the salesman talking you in the circle there, but as long as you ask good, logical questions and find out that you're getting the right size to cover your needs. I went with the company I felt like I could trust the most. I could tell the guy wasn't trying to sell me more panels than I needed. He went down to the numbers, which is what I wanted to see. I wanted to know, I'm a numbers guy, so I wanted to get in the weeds on the numbers, and he went there with me, and I've been happy.
Here's the deal. You get a 30% credit for the expense. So if it costs $10,000 to put it in, you get 30% on that, get a $3,000 immediate tax credit, which will reduce your income taxes, may increase your refund by $3,000, but that's how it works. And it's decreasing. It'll totally disappear by 2022. So that's what that's all about.
So now my numbers are coming back. I think my system cost about $30,000, and I calculated that the $10,000 I would approximately be able to get the credit for spread out over about 3 years.
There you go.
Yeah, just like that. Well, if you got a question for the panel, it's 844-220-0965, 844-220-0965. We also have the text machine now up and running as well, 21232. We are planning tomorrow
Today.
with Certified Financial Group. We'll get to Mike in Port Orange right after we get the 3 big things we need to know.
Now,
And welcome back. This is On the Money with the Certified Financial Group right here on News 96.5 WDBO. We are here with the Oracle of Orlando, Joe Bird, alongside Justin Spittler, a brand new contributor right here to the Certified Financial Group on the Money Show. Very excited to have him. 844-220-0965. That is 844-220-0965. We are 4 minutes away from the latest news, weather, and traffic with Dave Wall in the News 96.5 newsroom. So why don't we get back to our busy phone lines here? Talk to Mike in Port Orange. Mike, good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Good morning.
Morning, Mike.
Good morning, gentlemen. Thank you for taking my call.
Sure. What's up?
I'm 57. I'm hoping to work until around 70, maybe even longer. I'm not much on sitting home. Anyway, my wife has been a homemaker most of her life. I don't know that she have enough credits to qualify for Social Security.
Do you know how many, Mike, for our listeners' benefit, do you know how many credits she needs?
I think it was 35, isn't it?
No, it's 40. She needs 40 quarters of employment, basically 10 years. Doesn't have to be consecutive, but 40 quarters to be eligible for retirement.
Oh, she might then.
Well, there you
It's
go.
40 quarters, 10 years. All right, well, let me ask you. Somebody told me that if that's for whatever reason that she doesn't qualify, that she, when she turns whatever it is, 65 or 66, whatever, that she could get a portion of mine. Is that true?
If you file, are you the same age?
No, she's 4 years younger than me.
4 years younger. You would have to file, and she would have to be, right, Justin? I'm pretty sure that's how it works. You would have to file, and then she would be eligible for a portion of yours. But she's always eligible for a portion of yours, and if she takes it at 62, she's going to get a haircut in terms of what her benefit would be.
Oh, yeah. What is that portion? Do you know? Is it a percentage?
It's half at full retirement age, at her full retirement age.
Okay, so even if she doesn't have enough, let's say I get $2,500, she would get $1,250?
Approximately, yes. So even if she never worked a day in her life, she's still entitled to half of whatever your benefit is at the appropriate time.
That is correct.
On top of mine.
You
That's
just got to be
correct.
careful with the fact that she's 4 years younger than you. So when you file,
Yeah.
So
Well, I wish she was even younger than that, but she's not. So.
Yeah.
Wow.
And
Hopefully she's not listening.
And Mike, Mike, you know the benefit of your deferring taking your Social Security to your 70, right?
Yeah, it go up 4 or 5% something a year.
It grows at 8% per year,
that's right.
plus cost
8% per year.
plus cost of living,
Wow.
plus any cost of living. And so what that is that's really longevity insurance for your wife, because generally the women outlive us, Mike. You know how that works
Oh,
out?
yeah.
Yeah. And
Oh, she's determined to put me in a grave.
well, there
yeah.
you go. And she's 4 years younger, so chances are that's what the deal's going to be. So
She's shopping for the next one, I think. I
oh,
don't
there
know.
you go. So what if possible, you ought to defer taking your Social Security till you're 70, unless you have a health situation and you don't think you're going to be living into your 80s. But generally, it makes sense to defer your Social Security if you can afford to do that.
And if you can,
Right. That's exactly.
And if she can afford
All right,
to
well-
wait until that time as well, that'll put her right about what would be her normal full retirement age as well, and then she won't get a haircut.
Now,
on
is
that
it
part she
younger
would
for
take.
women than men?
No.
No.
Nope.
Thought it was at one point.
Yeah, no, the
Okay.
age is the age is the age. Yep.
All right, cool. Thank you, fellas. You have a nice weekend.
All
I
right, Mike.
appreciate
Thanks for the
your
call.
information.
Okay,
Thanks,
you're
Mike.
welcome.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Just like that. If you want your question answered by the panel, all you got to do is dial us up, 844-220-0965. That is 844-220-0965. Joe, what's the best number to reach you at during the week?
You can reach us at 407-869-9800 or 1-800-EXECUTIVE as if you were executing a financial plan.
All right. We've got Scott out in Eustis. Scott, you're going to be first up when we come back, or your text 21232. That is 21232. We are playing tomorrow.
Today.
With the Certified Financial Group right here on News 96.5 WDBO. And welcome back. This is On the Money with the Certified Financial Group right here on News 96.5 WDBO. It's all part of our Ask the Experts weekend. If you've got a question for the panel, that is Joe Burt, the Oracle of Orlando. That's simple, 844-220-0965. That is 844-220-0965. We've got a couple of busy phone lines here, but there's still plenty of room for your question. And Joe, if anybody join us during the latest news, weather, and traffic, what kind of question can you answer on the radio today?
Well, Justin and I are here to take the questions that you might have regarding anything that's on your mind regarding your personal finances. As we say, we go through life trying some of this, trying some of that, wake up when we're 55 years old and say, Loretta, what are we going to do for income? We have Social Security, but where's that paycheck going to come from? And that's the things that we deal with as certified financial planner professionals day in and day out at the Certified Financial Group. We have 12 certified financial planner professionals at CFG. We have more CFPs under our roof than anybody in the state of Florida. I like to say we're a large hospital. Each of our planners have their own practice, have their own patients, and we work with our clients on a fee basis. So if you have any questions regarding your personal finances and want to get them answered without anybody trying to sell you something, we're the place to come to. And all you have to do is go to our website. That's financialgroup.com. That's financialgroup.com. You can learn all about us, what we do, and you can find a friendly face there that you may want to pick up the phone and ask some questions, because we do that often as well. We have clients, or listeners, I should say, that said, I heard you on the radio on Saturday. I have a question. Just pick up the phone and call us. We are here to help, and what we want to do is prevent people from entering those golden years and finding out that they went to one of those lunch or dinner seminars and bought that thing that they thought was going to be the answer, and wake up and find out it's not working so well. So we're here to prevent those kind of disasters. All right, we've got some calls here, Kyle. Let's do.
Let's get back to the phone lines, 844-220-0965. Scott in Eustis is hanging on the longest. Scott, go ahead. You're on with the Certified Financial Group.
Scott, what's up?
Good morning, Scott.
Yeah, not much. Hey, I got two questions for you guys. One, I just wonder what your opinion of target date retirement funds was. And then my second question is I basically put about $18,000 a year, I think it's the max, into my 401, which is also target date retirement. And then I put $11,000, me and my wife, into the Roth.
Sweet.
And I expect my income, in retirement to be significantly less than what it is now. I make about $700,000 now.
Great.
But
are you self-employed? Hold it. Are you
no, I'm a partner. I'm in a partnership with my doctor.
Are you a doctor?
Yeah.
There are ways to get even bigger tax deductions than the 401k that you're using. Anybody ever talk to you about what's called a cash balance plan?
No.
Okay, Doc, there's a way for you to set aside up to $250,000 pre-tax per year instead of that minimal amount you put in your 401k. If you want more information, give me a call on Monday and we can talk about how that might work for you. But let's answer your questions about target date funds. So what do you want to know? What do we think of them, first of all?
Yeah.
Right? All right. For our listeners that might not be familiar with them, Justin, what are target date funds?
Yeah, I've got a lot of familiarity in this. We talked about this a lot when I was providing guidance in the 401k department. So you see these a lot in 401k and other retirement funds. And I'm actually a fan of these from the sense that a lot of times when I was providing guidance to people in the 401k, they didn't really have the expertise to build out a well-diversified portfolio for themselves, considering that a well-diversified portfolio is going to have large cap, mid cap, small cap, international, different types of sectors, all different things to be appropriately diversified. And also prior to the target date era, a lot of people would sign up for their 401k, and if they didn't pick anything, it would just go into some kind of a cash position, which obviously over the last 10 years or so hasn't been paying much. So I'm a fan of it as far as being a default, or for people who just sign up, at least it's going to go into something appropriate for their age and their time frame. But that's also kind of the downfall. You got to keep in mind that these things are built for a time frame. So if it's targeting the year 2030 as your retirement, you're going to have the same investment mix as everyone else targeting 2030, regardless of whether you have a higher risk tolerance, a lower risk tolerance, or any of the other factors that may go into your risk tolerance. But those target date funds are composed, generally speaking, of about 20 to 25 other mutual funds. So they're basically doing the diversification for you, and they slowly get more conservative as you get closer to that target time frame. So for people who don't have the expertise or the guidance to build out a well-diversified portfolio themselves, I am a fan of them.
So kind of set it and forget it, Scott.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you.
And your other question, you had another question that I'm trying to recall.
My other question is, so now I put $18,000 into my 401, and then my company actually matches about, they probably put in, they go to the max, so about 30 more thousand. I think the max is 50 something.
Right.
But that's in my 401, and then I put 11,000 to my Roth. I could potentially put more into a Roth if I did, instead of the 401, I could do that as a Roth also.
Well, I'm wondering.
I'm thinking,
Scott,
18,000 in one and 11,000 in the other. Sounds like a pretty good mix to me. But what do you guys think?
Well, I like your saving. I got a question for you though. If your income is the level that you said it is, you're not eligible for a Roth.
Oh, well, I do the backdoor Roth.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Yes. Oh, well, I like the idea of what you're doing there, of maximize your contributions. I think that's a great idea. There's nothing much else you can do other than if your practice can put in a cash balance plan. I don't want to sell you anything. I'll tell you what you do. Email me and I will send you an article for you and your partners to digest. And if it makes sense for you, I'll be glad to give you more information. So just email me, Scott. That's joe@financialgroup.com, joe@financialgroup.com, and I'll shoot you an article and maybe save you guys a lot more taxes down the road. Does that answer your questions, though?
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, thanks for the call, Scott.
Wonderful. Appreciate it, Scott. Thanks so much. If you want Scott's line, it's 844-220-0965. Let's get back to our busy phone lines here. Talk to Gary in Longwood. Gary, go ahead. You're on the Certified Financial Group.
Gary, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
What's
I had
up?
one quick question on Social Security. Well, I have a Social Security question. One quick question on putting all your money, maybe 90% of your retirement. I'm already getting Social Security. My wife is. But putting it in with one company, like one of the ones that manage all that stuff, like a Fidelity or whatever, is that dangerous if you're diversified within that company for them to manage it all?
So I'll take that question. So the risk that you're talking about here, Gary, is really the risk of that company potentially going south, because that company, if they're doing a prudent job being a good fiduciary for you, they're going to diversify your actual investments into hundreds, if not thousands, of other different things. It's not really tied to the success of the company. Now, in the event that that company were to, go bankrupt, you're in a situation where you might be looking at either trying to transfer your money to another company, your funds. But keep in mind that once you build out a portfolio, if you hold a bunch of, you use Fidelity as an example, if you own a bunch of Fidelity funds, then each of those funds have their own mixture of stocks and bonds with their own risk. So when we're building out a portfolio, we might use a couple Fidelity funds, we might use a couple Vanguard funds, we might use 10 different other company funds. So we're looking for the best of the best in each of the different categories. But at the end of the day, we custody our clients' assets typically all in one place. So I don't think there's not a lot of risk there, in my opinion, as long as you're going with a good, formidable company that you think's looking out for you and diversifying the assets once they're in the account.
Here's the key. There's two elements here, Gary. One is the quality of the investment advice that you're getting, and that's really determined by the advisor. To use an analogy, it's like going to the hospital. The outcome is going to be dependent on the surgeon that's performing the surgery. So it's the advisor that's making the decisions for you. And then you want to deal with a quality hospital, one that keeps the operating room clean, so to speak, and doesn't have major problems and keep the lights on. And Justin is 100% right. If you're dealing with one of the large firms, you have virtually no risk involved, because those firms really simply are custodians for the mutual funds that have their own safeguards, if you will.
Plus, a lot of those big companies have an immense amount of insurance,
yes,
just that covers them to provide liquidity in the event for the clients to be able to move their assets out if they were to fail.
Yes. So I think the first question you have to ask is the quality of the investment advice that you're getting. And then secondly, where is the money custodied? You're a backup in terms of not being cheated or fraud, I should say. That doesn't prevent you from losing something in a market decline, is that you get a statement directly from that large institutional company, not one that's solely created by the firm that you're doing business with, if it's not a large brokerage firm. And what I'm referring to is this is what happened with Bernie Madoff. He was, and this still happens today. In fact, Justin and I see it in investment news that there's advisors out there that crank out their own statements, and the client thinks that their money is invested, and then really it's not, and they're running a Ponzi scheme. So you want to deal with an advisor that works for a large company, that you get a monthly statement directly from that large firm, and you can see your investments online 24/7. And in addition to that, you get a regular report from that advisor to show your performance. So that's kind of your protection against fraud. Does that help you?
Yeah, absolutely. Now for my original question, Social Security.
Okay.
That was a great answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My wife is getting Social Security since she was 62. She had smaller income, kind of like the previous guy you were talking to.
How long has she been getting it?
About 4 years or
okay.
so.
All right. Okay.
About 3 years, I guess.
Okay.
So in any case, I'm about the same age as her, and I haven't taken it based on your advice. I haven't taken the Social Security yet. So I was wondering, do I get the whole thing, or does she get the whole thing if I passed away, or if we stop taking hers and I start doing mine at full retirement? Would we get my whole, even after I die, would she get the full benefit that I had?
She's going to get the choice of the larger of the two. So, yeah, so when you start taking yours, if something were to happen to you, then she would be able to then switch over and take yours, the larger of the two.
So she doesn't get half of mine. That's what I was a little concerned about.
No, she when you start taking yours, she'll continue to get her what she's getting now. And then she will, when you pass away, if you predecease her, obviously, then she would take over your benefit if it's larger.
Okay. So she still gets hers and I get mine.
Yep.
At some point.
Yep. That's how it works. All right.
It's about time we got something that we paid into.
There
right?
you go, Gary. Have a good weekend. Thanks for the call.
Right. Appreciate it, Gary. Thanks so much. We've got a lot of busy phone lines, so let's get right back to it. Joe in Groveland. Joe, you're up next.
Good morning, Joe.
Morning, Joe.
Hey, good morning. Good morning, guys. I just have a real quick question. A couple callers back, a gentleman had asked about, is Social Security taxable? And you said it was based on your income. Could you describe or define income? I have an annuity. I have a pension. my wife's Social Security, my Social Security. This will all be effective next year, and I will be working part-time, making $20,000. So is it on everything that comes into the house, or is it just on what I'm working for?
No, it's not wages. It's pension. It's your annuity. It's dividends, interest, capital gains, generally all the stuff that shows up on the front page of your 1040.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yep.
So, we're going to be up in the we're going to be taxed 85%.
Yep. Now, once again, for our listeners, I want to clarify this because when they hear that 85% tax, you don't pay taxes at the 85% rate. You pay taxes on 85% of your Social Security benefit, and you pay taxes on whatever's left on that 85%. Got it?
Correct.
Okay.
Yes, I understand that.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for the call, Joe.
All right, Joe. Let's see if we can't squeeze in Joe in Celebration. Joe, go ahead. You're on the Certified Financial Group.
Good morning, Joe.
Hi, Joe. You can't have enough Joes.
That's it. You got it. What's up?
Got a question. I'm a retired firefighter. I have a 457 plan that didn't want to gamble with and was offered a fixed since I retired about 12 years ago. And I wanted to consider now rolling it over into a 401k. I'm 62 years old. Any thoughts on that?
Or you're working for a company that provides a 401k?
Well, we have a self-employed company out of state.
Okay, so you have a 401k that can accept. Yeah, that's fine. There's no harm. There's no harm in that. In fact,
there's no benefit. Is there a benefit versus the 450 maintaining the 457 plan?
Well, depending on there may be some features in the 401k plan in terms of being able to take loans. It depends.
Okay.
Generally, with those 457, they're offered by insurance companies. And they're pretty
nationwide.
Right. They're pretty straitjacket in terms of what flexibility that you have. So if you're 62, it might make sense to roll into 401k. It sounds like you control the 401k in terms of your company.
That is true.
Yes.
Just husband and wife.
Yeah, there you go. So yes, that's probably what I would do. Yep. And
very good.
Hopefully the fees are less expensive than they are on the 457. This is what you have to look at. Go ahead.
And very good. I just terminated a defined benefit.
Okay.
And wanted to roll over that also into a 401k.
Yep. You can
do
that.
Is that something
you can do that
easily done?
Yep.
Right.
You can do that.
Thank you.
All right, Joe. Thanks for the call.
Thanks, Joe. Bye.
All right. If you want Joe's line, it's 844-220-0965. Text machine is up and running as well. 21232. We'll get to those on the other side. Right now, we pause to get the three big things you need to know. Final segment of On the Money with Certified Financial Group right here on News 96.5 WDBO. So let's get right back to it. Before we get back to it, Joe, I believe we have some follow-up comments.
Yeah, we do. Our first caller, Jim. Jim, hopefully you're still listening. You had a question as to how soon after you leave your job do you have to sign up for Medicare Part B. You have 8 months to do that. So our crack research team found that answer for you. I hope that's helpful. But I wouldn't wait till the 11th hour to do that.
The Google department is on fire this morning.
In fact, they recommend that if before you retire, you ought to get in line for Social Security, sign up for all that stuff at least 3 months in advance, so you got it going. But sometimes people lose their job or decide at the last minute to quit, so you have 8 months to plug into to Medicare Part B to avoid penalties.
And I believe we had another
yes, we did
with the 401k timeline.
Yes, good news, right, Justin?
Yeah, we had a gentleman mention how much he was contributing as far as maxing out. We just want to make sure that everyone knew that in 2019 you will be able to put in $19,000 into your 401k and $6,000 into your IRA. So those have both gone up $500 from last year. The 401k was $18,500, and the IRA has been at $5,500 since 2013. So now the IRA is $6,000. The catch-up is still at $1,000 if you're over the age of 50 or over.
On the IRA and $6,000 on the 401k.
That's right.
Yeah.
So if you're over the age of 50 next year, the max you can put into your 401k is 25 big ones.
Wow.
How about that?
Look at that.
And
Tom?
the max you put in your IRA is $6,000 or $500 a month.
Okay.
There you go.
That's easy.
Simple dimple.
Tom and Jim, let's get them on the air. Tom and Avito's up first. Tom, go ahead. You're on with the Certified Financial
Tom, what's
Group.
up?
Yeah, hi. I just separated after 20-some years of part-time work from an employer, and I've got about $10,000 in the employer stock that recently went way down. You mind if I say the company's name?
We don't mind.
Okay, it was Papa John's, and as a result of his comments, the stock went south.
Yep, gotcha.
So I'm 59. I really don't need the money.
Okay.
I'm trying to decide whether I should leave that portion. I think it's around 10, maybe 12,000 that's in the Papa John stock there to hope that it recovers, or if I'd be better off, do you think, just to pull that money and put it into maybe a S&P 500 index, something like that?
Well, if I had a crystal ball and I could tell you the future of Papa John's, it'd be an easy answer. And that is, therein lies the problem.
Yeah.
Nobody knows, right, Justin?
Yeah.
What do you recommend there?
Right. Typically in this case, I would look at what that asset represents as an overall percentage of your savings and your investments. If it's representing more than 10% of what you've got saved, then you should consider diversifying. If it's less than 10% and you've got 90% in other things, then you might be able to hold on to that in the hopes that it might recover. But nobody's got the crystal ball, and sometimes you've got to be willing to take what you feel like is a loss off of where the high point was for the future, just so that you can get something out of it and put it into something safer. So I would look at how much that represents of your picture and then consider diversification from there.
Tom, that's a classic case. That's a classic case of somebody that owns company stock, and you think things were great with Papa John's, right? A couple of years ago, NFL and Papa John and what's his name?
Peyton Manning.
Peyton Manning, thank you. I got the quarterback deal going there. Peyton Manning, spokesperson, and then all of a sudden things change overnight. So, but Justin's 100% right. If it's a small portion of your overall savings and investment plan, it might make sense to hold on to it and hope for the best.
Okay, I appreciate it.
All right, Tom, thanks for the call. Good luck to you.
All right, Tom, let's get Jim in Ocala. Jim, you're up next. Jim, go ahead.
What's up?
Yes, sir. Good evening, gentlemen. Questions concerning RMDs.
Mm-hmm.
In the plan, of course, the RMD is calculated on last December's numbers,
Right.
which was high. Right now, it's low. So therefore, I should have taken the money out somewhere back there when the share price was high. However, is there a safe way within the House to earmark the money? This is my RMD, for this year, last December's numbers,
Right.
but leave it invested so that it still earns. And then I don't need the money right now. Okay, so then on the other side of that, after I take the RMD, where is the safe, legal, not so much safe, but legal, growing, productive, tax advantage place to put that RMD? Munis or what?
Okay, let's look at your first situation. So let's summarize for our listeners. If you'd have taken your RMD earlier in the year, you wouldn't have had to sell so many shares to get that required minimum distribution out of your IRA or your 401k. So now the share price is down. You got to sell more shares. What do we do, Justin?
Well, first of all, Jim, don't feel too bad, because if you were planning to reinvest the money anyway, then you would have just taken it out of the IRA and reinvested it at the high prices when you took it out. So what you might want to consider is, if you don't need the money, you take the RMD from the IRA and you put it just in a regular brokerage account without necessarily having to withhold the taxes. So it's the exact same amount going out and going back into the brokerage account. And you could even, in some cases, just go ahead and move the position over, and then you pay the taxes out of the savings that you've had in your bank that aren't tied to the market. And then you're really not out of the market for any time period at all.
There you go. That's what we do at Certified Financial Planners day in and day out. And we're going to wrap this up. I see the signal from Kyle, right,
That's
Kyle?
it. Give that the number, phone, websites one more time.
407-869-9800, or go to our website, financialgroup.com.
Jam-packed show. We'll be back here next Saturday right here. Live WDBO.
This is News 96.5.
WDBO.
Where Orlando turns first for breaking news, weather, and traffic.
Information presented on this program is believed to be factual and up to date, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. Discussions and answers to questions do not involve the rendering of personalized investment advice, but is limited to the dissemination of general information. A professional advisor should be consulted before implementing any of the options presented. Certified Advisory Corp is registered as an investment advisor with the SEC and only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements.